Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to WISER Special August edition. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning from any part of the world you're watching today. We're excited and it's a beautiful day to be alive. My name is Glory Okoko and I have the privilege to be one of the facilitators for this year's event, for this month event. That's the August special. So please let us know where you're joining us from. What part of the world are you joining in this morning? We would like to recognize you. We would like to call you by name. We would like to say hello. So please tell us where you are joining in from, your name and where you are joining in from. So I'm looking in the chat box right now, and I would like to see a number of people joining us from any part of the world. Are you in Lagos? Are you in Abuja? Owerri, Imo, Sokoto, where are you? Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. This is WISER Special. So I'm looking out for names to introduce. I'm looking out for you. And I must tell you, it's going to be a beautiful day, a beautiful discussion, a beautiful um, knowledge sharing session. So please, if you are here, tell us your name and where you are joining in from. If I get up to 2, 3, 4, 5 people, good morning, Toyin Alade Atomode. Okay. Good morning, and you are joining us from Ilorin, Kwara State. Welcome. Welcome. This clap is for you. Welcome, welcome, Toyin. We're happy that you are up and ready to join today's session. Thank you, Toyin. Thank you so much. Toyin, do well to please share the link. Wake up your family, friends, brother, sister, everybody that needs to be here. Yay! Joyce Daniels is here. Good morning, Wiser Nation. And she is joining from Lagos, the Center of Excellence. Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. We're excited that you're here. Thank you very, very much. Yes, one more person, someone else to join us. I need to see people joining. This is the time where you join, you share, you invite everybody that needs to be here. You know, there is a quote that says, if you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. So it's very important that we surround ourselves with people that encourage us to grow. And you can be that person that encourages another person to grow, because we have lots and lots of wiser heads in this group. So please do well to share the link, share with everybody, and let's get ready for a ride. Okay, so before, we have been reviewing the atomic habits since February, and it has been a wonderful ride. And just before we continue, I'd like us to start today on a note of gratefulness, on a note of thankfulness. So would you please write in the comment section what you are grateful for? Can you write one thing you are grateful for today? It's the 4th of August. The year is already coming to an end. It's a lot that has happened since January up till now. So just write in the comment section. Yes. Good morning, Wiser Nation. Good morning, the mechanic. You're joining from the rainy city of Lagos. Yes, the rains help, to make everywhere just cool, fine, lovely, and make our plants grow. So it's important that we have the rains. Yes, and we have it in very, very good proportion. You're welcome, the mechanic. We're happy to see you. And yes, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? Please put in the chat box something specific you are grateful for, because what we concentrate on actually expands. And when you are thankful for something, it gets even bigger and better. Yes, 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 yes. I'm expecting more people. Thank you very much, the mechanic. Thank you for joining. Yes, while I'm waiting on your responses for something specific that you are grateful for, I want us to know that I won't be doing this alone. I have somebody very interesting, and she'll be joining me very shortly. But first, let's look at some of the rules. Okay, Jason, Jason, you're welcome. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now let's look at the laws we have been talking about even before today. Yes, it's time to share the link, share with your family, share with your friends so that they can join us immediately and not miss out on anything that we're able to do. So you can share on your social media platforms and in all your groups and communities. The more, the merrier. Thank you so much. So to do justice, before we do justice to law 4, yeah, okay, I can see some is this Amafuma? Please forgive me. Omafuma, yes, from Abuja. Sam Omafuma, you're welcome. Thank you for joining from Abuja. I'm sure you're just my neighbor because I'm in Abuja too. Thank you so very, very much. Okay, so let's take a step-by-step move from the first law to the third, and then we hit up right into the discussion of the day. So if you know the very first law that James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, has been talking about, like he shares in his book, please put law 1 in the chat box. Please put it there. I'd like to see it. I'd like to know that you have been reading the book. I'd like to see that you have been following and taking tiny steps. So if I have anybody who has been, yes, law 1. Can I see somebody? Make it, it starts with letter O. I'm going to give you that clue. Letter O. Do I have people who have been reading this book? Okay, no, law 1 says make it obvious. Make it obvious. So if you want to start off a habit and continue that habit, make it obvious. Put it somewhere you can see. Number 2 says what? So who will be the title holder for today? You need to interact. You need to tell us. You need to type. I know that some of us are maybe preparing for work, want to do, but I need your full attention so that we can make the very best of our meeting today. Yes. Number 2 says make it attractive. And number 3 says make it easy. Make it, I mean, easy peasy lemon squeezy. When we make something easy, we're more likely to repeat that behavior again and again. So to do justice to law 4, I have a very wonderful, delectable, and super inspiring facilitator with me. And before I call her name, there is a backstory to this lady. And when we got talking, and I have the privilege to share that information with you. So she, coming up on WISER Special, is part of those things she wanted to tick off for the year 2025. It was like coming back to something that she's passionate about, about speaking, about communicating, about sharing. And I have a name I call her, but let me call her her real name first before I tell you the AKA. So if your hands are not too busy, okay, so yes, I need you to type on the keypad. I need you to give her a warm welcome. I need you to shout. I need you to do something to welcome this very, very, very special person. Her name is Ginikachi Onuorah, AKA Kachi for president. Please, a round of applause as we make welcome Kachi on stage live with me. Yay! Thank you, MC Love Diamond. A round of applause. Kachi, this drum roll is for you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Glory,
Good
for that
morning.
wonderful introduction. How are you today? How was your
I'm
weekend?
awesome. I am awesome. I've been looking forward to today. I could barely sleep. Waking up. Is it time? Is it almost time? Is it time? Is it almost time? Welcome, Kachi. You look
That oh
beautiful too.
that Thank you. That almost happened to me because it's been raining. It started raining at midnight, and everywhere was
Whoa.
just cool. I had this fear of over sleeping, but I just kept waking up so that I don't miss that because I know it's going to be a really exciting journey. Thank you everyone for joining us from all over Nigeria. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so very much, Kachi. We're happy that you're here. And just while we have a conversation in the chat box, okay, you can see Jason welcoming you. Yes. I would like to know if there is any habit you have formed. I'm talking to everybody generally now, but Pachi will start off. But if there is any new habit you have formed since you started reading The Atomic Habits by James Clear, we will be very, very delighted to know. Please type it in the chat box. What new habits have you learned since we started reading The Atomic Habits by James Clear? Kachi, would you like to just share one new habit that reading this book has helped you build before we
Yes,
hit the real discussion
Yes,
below?
earlier this year, I had said I was going to, spend more time meditating, bringing my thoughts together before jumping out into the day because I live in Lagos and it's a very busy city. People are up as early as 4 a.m. And I found out that this was something I wanted to do just so that I could, improve my person, have my arts, my ducks in a row and all that. And I decided to just wake up a little bit earlier than I usually do. I started setting my alarm for 4:30. I wake up, just be grateful for the day, say a few prayers, read my Bible, and just um, get collected before I jump into a very busy day. And I
Mm.
found out that since being consistent with that, I've been able to, I'm calmer. When things that would originally agitate me, I find myself just, taking a step back, looking at the situation and, analyzing it before reacting or before responding. And I just feel that it's because I've been able to set that time up in the morning. I've created cues just as we had learned in the previous habits. And today that we're going to look into the habit of making your habits satisfying. We'll still share more on how you can become or how you can develop better habits, by making it satisfying and then becoming a better person and being the person we want to be at the end of the day. So that's something that has helped me. One habit I've tried to adopt this year, and reading this book has really helped me keep myself in line and in check so that I'm on track to what I set out to achieve for this year.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much, Kachi. It is heartwarming to know that you can put your life in order. Like things don't have to drag you in different places if we're very intentional about it. So for me, it will be the new habit I learned after reading The Atomic Habit was habit stacking, where I have to place a new habit on an already existing habit. So for me, I wanted to read more this year. And just like we all know, life gets busy, everything is dragging for your attention. So when I'm doing chores that don't require my hands, like hands free, like I can put my earpiece in my ear and listen to a book while I wash the dishes or clean the house or do something. So I have read so many more books in this year compared to other times, and I am so grateful for the privilege to do this. All right, so let's dig deep into the book so that everyone watching will get to understand at least something that they would, you know, take into action going forward. Now, there is something about a satisfying experience when when you enjoy a habit you are more likely to repeat it. And when it is unsatisfying, you are more likely not to do it. So, Kachi, would you like to explain with maybe some illustrations from James Clear's book on how we can make, or how, we can make habits satisfying, and repeating the habits and all of that?
All right, thank you, Glory, for that. So, habit 4, which is make it satisfying, James Clear introduces this by telling a story about a scientist, an American scientist, who decided to relocate to Pakistan to help out in Karachi, which was a densely populated area, a slum. It was your typical ghetto. And over there, they saw that there was a prevalence of diseases. And this scientist, his name is Luby, he went in there and discovered that people didn't make a habit of washing their hands. And just like we had seen in the time of COVID, where simple washing of hands helps to reduce cases and incidences of getting infected with COVID. This was what was happening in Karachi. People were not washing their hands, or they were not washing it properly, or those who claimed they washed were just washing one hand and just doing it like something in passing. And he went in there and decided to teach them how to wash their hands, and also gave them soaps that they could use. And the particular soap they used had a beautiful fragrance and it lathered very well. And because people loved the fragrance and the act of washing their hands because it lathered so much, this habit became indoctrinated in them. They got used to it. And he discovered that after staying there, after people adopted this habit for about a year, many cases of these diseases dropped by a significant number. And when he went back after 6 years to check on them to see how they are doing, they discovered that about 95% of the people who they taught this habit kept on doing it. Why? Because they were satisfied with doing this habit and they just decided to continue with the habit. And there's another incident of toothpaste. Toothpaste was, people were told, okay, just brush your teeth with this, and then toothpaste was bland. But companies came up with the idea of adding mints or sweets into toothpaste, and people started adopting brushing their teeth regularly. And this is the habit that many of us have formed today, that we brush our teeth 2 3 times a day, because the once you brush your teeth, you have this satisfying feeling. You have fresh breath, you have confidence. And another story is told of chewing gum. When chewing gum was discovered, it was just a chewy substance that people used to exercise their muscles. But a big chewing gum maker, Wrigley's, came up with the idea of adding mint to chewing gum. And immediately he added that, people started buying chewing gum. And they also sold the idea that chewing gum gives you fresher breath. And within a few years, Wrigley's became a top sugar chewing gum producing company. Why all these stories? It shows that when a habit wants to be adopted and you make it satisfying, there is a tendency of repeating it. Now, the three habits we had learned, the three laws we had learned before, which is make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy. There's a possibility of, they make it possible for you to repeat a habit once, to adopt a habit once. But when a habit is satisfying, you find out that you are able to go back to that habit over and over again. And because you keep repeating this thing over again, it becomes a habit. All right. Now, the cardinal rule of behavior change, which is when you want to do something you've not done before, you want to adopt a new habit. The rule is that what is rewarded is repeated. Now, and then by adopting a new habit, finding a way to make it satisfying. That satisfaction is your reward, because when you are done with this habit, you feel, oh, okay, I've done what I said I want to do. You are happy. You find out that you look forward to doing that another time. Okay, and this brings to mind a time in my life when I was in secondary school. I used to love studying, and because I studied a lot, I usually made higher scores in class. And then teacher would always say, okay, Kachi, can you answer this question? Can you come to the front of the class and teach people about this? Now, because I was satisfied. I had that satisfaction of being called like the Efiko, brilliant girl, and all that. It made me want to repeat studying. It made me want to go back home to study more, and so that tomorrow I'm really want to be called out to the class to make a presentation. So you see that when you're able to make your habits more satisfying, there's a tendency to repeat all this. Now, as we go ahead, before we even proceed, I just want us to drop satisfaction in the comment section. If you're following us and this is resonating with you, just drop in the comment, say satisfaction, so that we will know that you are with us. Then um now moving on, how do we make this how do we adopt these habits? How is it that we're able to keep on repeating these habits? Now, previously, before modern times, human beings lived in an environment that was called an immediate return environment, where you just, you want something, you get it. People are hungry, or they want to get shelter from the storm, they quickly go and search for this need. Now, but modern environment has made us look at delayed gratification, like your whatever the reward you're expecting will come at a later time. But we have found out that this doesn't resonate with the human mind. The human mind wants to be rewarded for its actions immediately. Okay, and we discovered that in order to make our habits stick by making it satisfying, we need to use what is called reinforcement, where we are able to give ourselves immediate satisfaction for the things we are trying to achieve. Now, because we are able to reward ourselves immediately for what we want to achieve, you see that we are looking forward to, repeating this habit, repeating this habit, repeating this habit. Now, Glory, I'd like you to share, when was there ever a time when you saw that, you know, having making your habit satisfying has made you want to come back to that habit so that it becomes a part of you?
Oh yes, I've had a good I've had okay, I hear that I'm echoing. I really don't know why, but I would request that okay, I'll just try to see what can be done. But please bear with me. I know that will be fixed very shortly. Now, personally, I like bread so very much, and there is a particular person I like to buy it from because an experience with her really makes me want to come back to her. She's selling bread, but she's not the only one there. But whenever you approach her at the junction, she asks you, "Oh, madam, how was your day? Hope you are fine." But every other person will just come to you and just say, what do you want to buy? How much? And but she will take the action, go the extra mile to find out how are you. And so I look forward to going back to her. So the same way, when we make an experience satisfying for our customers or for people, there's something that it comes back to us as, and that is a repeat business. So I know I've heard Joyce Daniels, as a master of ceremonies, say over time that there are particular organizations that get to call her year in, year out for a particular event. And I always wonder in my mind, how are you able to do this? And it's strongly because there is a level of satisfaction that these clients enjoy, and it brings repeat business. So if you want to repeat a habit, make it satisfying so that you will be able to continue and see it to the very end. Now, talking about reinforcement, you see, we don't just want any kind of satisfaction. There's a difference. There are different kinds of satisfaction. There's the immediate and there's the delayed gratification. But just like Kachi said, we want something in the immediate that makes us repeat that habit. And that is where I want to talk about my grade 2 experience. Now, for over a decade, I've been teaching. children. Um, and there was a particular time I was a teaching assistant to Miss Elizabeth, you know, and we used positive reinforcement, immediate feedback as against delayed gratification to bring out the very best out of our children. Now, you all know that speech and prize giving day comes once in a year at the end of the term. So we were looking at it that, oh, if we have to wait till the end of the year, that's like 36 weeks, our children may just, lose guard. They will just say, oh, I really don't, I may not be able to make anything out of this. What did we do? What did we do? We created something that we call the Award Friday. The Award Friday was just for our class, and it was a way to reward the efforts of the children who had made some level of improvement in 1 week. So last week, the child wasn't writing fast or did not complete his or her notes, and this week, the person, met up to it, we would call the person out and we would give the person a presidential handshake. You know what that is? Our class teacher will step out, call the person in front of the class, and we give them a pencil, a simple pencil. And we used to call it Australian pencil, Italian pencil, American pencil, African pencil, something nice that the children can look forward to. And Kachi, this is what we noticed. Each of those children moved because everybody wanted to be rewarded. Each of those children moved at least 36% forward before the end of the year because every week people were getting better. So if you want to continue a habit, make it satisfying and make sure that you have an immediate feedback or immediate reward system that encourages you to move forward. So in the chat box, before Kachi takes up the next question, I'd like you to write the name of a significant person in your life who used positive reinforcement to make you continue a habit. Yes, I'm expecting responses. Do you remember anybody particularly in your life? Maybe your mom, your dad, your colleague, your boss in the office that used positive reinforcement, immediate feedback to help you continue a particular habit or skill or something that you were doing. Okay. All right. So Kachi, now there's something that the author says. I'm waiting for that feedback. I'm waiting for that feedback.
Yes.
Kachi, maybe before we
Keep your
move to the
comments
next question,
coming.
do you have a significant person in your life who used positive reinforcement to help you continue a particular habit?
Yes, someone who did that was my math teacher in school. So because she always had this gifts that she gives to those who either completed their assignments. Is that echo coming from my end?
Maybe.
Okay, it has stopped. All right. So she always made this habit of giving people gifts, especially when she gives assignments. Okay, she would either buy you lunch or buy you snacks. So those were the things. And imagine in secondary school, getting an additional 100 naira or 200 naira from a teacher was a big deal. And she made it in such. It was fun because you just like you did with your teacher, with your teacher. You brought the children out. Same thing she did, and she would tell you, "I'll buy you lunch," because then she used to give us. Just please hold on a minute. Let me see.
Okay.
Okay. It's clearer now, but I can't have they don't have any significant thing making noise here. But moving on. So because of that reinforcement she did weekly, we found out that people were more interested in math, especially in my set. You get, and we had better WIEC results at the end of the day. So that's one way that reinforcement has actually helped me in my life.
Mm.
So we're still
All
waiting
right,
for
great.
the comments to come in.
Ah, great, 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 perfect, perfect, Kati. Now I'm echoing, but all right. So let's find a way around this thing. Okay, so you know that feeling of getting up at the end of the day and you're looking at what did I achieve today? It will be looking as if somebody stole your day from you. You'll be saying, God, God, I beg, bring today back. Let me just start all over again. So when we start off with new habits and you want to continue them, I want you to know, I want everybody on this call to know that we need more than good intentions to continue or to stick to our everyday habits. We need strategies. And Kachi has some very good strategies that we have shared on about the atomic habits, and that the author says that we can use to make sure that we stick to our good habits every day. Kachi, kindly share with us some of those specific strategies that can help us stick to our habits.
All right, thank you, Glory. So, the author James Clear made us to realize some strategies that one could use to keep their habits in check. And he started off by telling a story of a young man named Trent, who was a stockbroker in Canada. Now he started off in a new company and decided that he was going to make it in life. And he came up with a strategy of making 120 sales calls every day. Please, can you drop in the comment section if you can hear me? Let me know if I'm audible enough. All right. So he made this commitment to making 120 calls a day. And he came up with this wonderful strategy of having two jars on his table. One jar was filled with 120 paper clips, and the other jar was empty. Now, once he makes a call, after his call, he drops one paper clip into the other jar. And he kept on doing this until he had run out of paper clips in the full jar, and the empty jar was now full with those paper clips. Now he kept on doing this consistently for 18 months. At the end of 18 months, he had brought in $5 million into the company, and he had increased his salary from about $25,000 to $75,000. Now imagine what that did for him. Okay, at the end of, I think within a year, he had even gone into a bigger company where he started earning six figures. And all this happened because he tracked his habits. Okay, he decided to form a habit of making sales calls, and he decided to stick with it and tracked it so that he would know that, okay, today I did this number, tomorrow I did this number. And he was able to build that cumulative effect over time, and you see how it paid off both for him and his company. Another example is given of a woman who an author, anytime she writes a book, she puts a hairpin into a jar. Now, this strategy is called paperclip strategy, and it's simply keeping track of your habits. Just like Glory said, that sometimes at the end of the day, you discover, what did I do? But if you take your time to look, but you thought that maybe you had done so many things, but because you were not keeping track, of it, it seemed like the whole day just disappeared like that. But one way to do this is keeping track of your habits. And you could use different things, okay? You could use a simple calendar. You could use paper clips, just like the guy in our story did. I personally, I use to-do lists, okay? Now, how did I start using to-do lists? I work in corporate, and there was this lady whom I became friends with in my office, and we used to call her Star Girl because that girl was outstanding. You know, every day she comes to work and then she just knocks off items. There's no time a manager asks her for something that she doesn't deliver. And I found out that I wasn't like that, but I wanted to be like that. But I now started studying her, and I noticed that every morning she comes into the office and then she writes out the things she wants to do. It could be five, it could be 10, it could be 20. But at the end of the day, you would see significant progress. And I decided to adopt it. I'll come into the office, but I do mine before I get to the office. I write out, okay, these are the things I want to do for the day. And then when I get to the office, I start ticking them off. And gradually, I started noticing my manager would make some commendations. Oh, okay, you delivered right on time. All those kind of things. And this was because I started keeping track of my actions. I started taking notes, and just ticking it off leaves this visual cue that makes you satisfied, and you want to do it again tomorrow. And before you know it, you are building a habit that benefits you, and perhaps benefits your business, benefits your company. So, Glory, do you remember a time when you had to adopt how you had to track a habit that you wanted to adopt in your life, and how it panned out for you? Now, before Glory comes on board, let's drop in the comment section tracking. Just say tracking. Let's know that you are following us and then sharing with us so that we know that we're actually talking to you and you're listening to us.
Okay, thank you,
Over to
Kachi,
the
for
comment
that.
section.
It's, it's time to write tracking in the chat box. And would like to encourage all our WhatsApp members of the WhatsApp group. It's time to engage, it's time to join, it's time to share, it's time to be a part of what is happening here. Don't miss out. Don't sleep on this one. It's a Monday morning, and this has good value to help you start your day and continue with your new habits in the year 2025. So, thank you very much. Insightful, conversations. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for following. And thank you for commenting very, very much. So, just like you asked, I personally like to track with pen and paper. I think that one of the worst things that people can do to me is to take a pen from me. Like, I like to have it handy. Yes, I have a device where I type, but I like the feel of having something. Anyway, I'm not limited whether I'm without it, but I like the feel of having to track. So when I want to keep track of my habits, my to-do list, things I said I would do, I'll just write it on a piece of paper, on my jotter, on my journal. And then when I do one, I tick off. Just like you said, it gives the feeling, it gives a satisfying feeling. It makes you, it makes your habits obvious. It makes it attractive. It makes it, oh, I'm making progress over perfection. And I think that that is something we need to embrace. And yes, the author says that not everybody can track daily. And sometimes it's not also everything that we can track, but he gives other things that we can do, like having a weekly tracking system or to automate your tracking system. For example, some people who want to save, if your goal is maybe saving more money, putting money in a particular place, you could discuss ahead with your HR and tell them, oh, I want certain amount to go to this account. I want certain amount to go to this account when my money arrives. And you'll be surprised that you don't have to struggle with that habit of saving. Once your money comes, it goes into the different accounts that you really want. So that's a way of automating a new habit that you want to form. And I don't know which one works for you. I don't know which one works for you, but type in the comment section if you prefer daily tracking, please write daily. If you prefer weekly tracking, or you say, I can't do this daily, but I can do it weekly. If you prefer to automate your habits as a way to track it, please put in the comment section so that we will get to know and possibly keep you accountable for that. But whatever the case, make sure you track. It's like examining your life, because when you measure, you know where you fall short, and then you know what next to do. But when you don't measure, it makes it just feel like, oh, you don't even know whether you're making progress or not. And that feeling is not satisfying. So make it satisfying so that you can enjoy the very best. Now, let's take a breather, you know, and I would just encourage everyone on this call. And if you get to watch, when you get to watch the replay, please subscribe to Joyce Daniels' YouTube channel and click on the notification bell, because there is so much value on this channel that will change your life. I know that for sure. So just last week, I stumbled on a content from WISER Special 2021. Now, this is 2025. That's how many years? And then I was asking, when I listened to it again, I was like, gosh, this wisdom has been available since how many years ago? And I've been asking myself, where am I? Where was I? Like Kachi will say, where when we were talking about this, he said, where are me? So we don't want you to be left out of what is happening. Remember, we want you to grow, and there are valuable resources on this channel, the Joyce Daniels page. So please, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to this page now and click on the notification bell so you'll be the very first to know when something hot drops. Okay, so our next question, and this one just makes me feel so human. You know, there are times that life will throw curveballs at you. Things may not go as expected. You just, it can just be like that morning that rain just decides to fall from night till morning, and then you oversleep. You don't wake up at the 5 a.m. that you have set your alarm. And sometimes you just wake up and just say, maybe I failed today, or maybe this habit thing is not for me. I should just be living my life just anyhow. Kachi, would you like to share with us how you felt when you couldn't keep up with a particular habit for whatever reason, and share with us some strategies to help us bounce back when there is a break in a habit that we are trying to build.
All right, Glory. Insightful. Thank you for that insightful segment. Now, because we know we are human and life happens, just like you said, there are days when we will not meet up. But one thing we should have at the back of our mind, one thing that we should keep as our mantra is don't miss twice. Now, if you're in the comment section, just drop it there and say don't miss twice. Now, if you have this as a mantra, when life happens, you will find out that you will bounce back. What does don't miss twice means? There are some days that you're supposed to go to the gym, and for some reason you don't go to the gym. You miss one day. It's fine. But make sure that you do not miss tomorrow. Whatever happens, do not miss the next day. Because when you miss a habit twice, it means you're already forming a bad habit of not going to the gym. And that is not what you want. So once you have that mantra that says, don't miss twice, you find out that you're able to pick yourself back up and continue. Okay, now this is just so that we know that things happen. Just like Glory said, life could throw curveballs at us. You know, you're going to the gym, you wake up and you find out that you're just demoralized. Okay, you're supposed to save maybe 5,000 naira every week, and for some reason that week you overspent. Things just came rushing at you, and you didn't do it. Don't miss the next one. Because you are keeping track of your habits, and you don't want to break that chain. And as Glory will say, progress over perfection. Because when you do something, when you miss a habit, it could be maybe 33%, or it could be 50% of missing. But if you find out that you just did it, let's just do it. You find out that you're just putting in the effort. And it's not about maybe being fit at the end of the day. It's about being somebody who keeps to their commitment. And that goes a long way to help you become a better person. So when you miss a habit for one day because of one thing or the other, do not make the habit of not missing it. Say, okay, I didn't do this today. Tomorrow, do it anyway. Just like we hear most times, start. Start the way you are. Or just do it, like Nike will say, just do it. Yes, you want to do it in a certain way, but for some reason you're not able to do it. Do it the way you are and keep on moving. Because at the end of the day, it's not just the destination, that is also the journey to the destination. The person whom you become at the end of the day is what we are looking at, so that you don't put yourself on that high pedestal of perfectionism. You just find out that you are doing it every day, and with time it becomes a part of you. So let's see your comment where you say don't miss twice. And then, Glory, when has it happened in your life that you try to keep up a habit and for some reason or the other you fail, and how were you able to get right back on track with that?
Kechuku, thank you so much.
Kechuku, thank you so much.
Yes. Don't miss twice. Hmm. So, like you rightly asked, there was, like I mentioned earlier that one of my biggest goals was to increase the number of books I would read in a particular year and all of that. So for some reason, I was falling short of that time of that goal. And because I put it early in the morning, and in the mornings, of course, there is the morning school runs. Yes, Jason, Sam, don't miss twice. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for engaging. There's the early morning school runs, all of that. And sometimes I don't get that time to sit to read at least for 30 minutes to 1 hour in the morning. And so there was a particular day I stayed like longer than 2, 3 days without keeping to that. What did I do? I just changed my strategy. So instead of having it in the morning, when I know that I don't have that time, I'll do it in the evening before I sleep. At least I have that time to myself. So when I changed the strategy, it was able to make me, you know, meet up with my goals. And I'm happy. I'm grateful that I didn't give up on that, because it has made a lot of meaning to my life, to what I do. And so there are other strategies from the book that I want to share. And that is one, having an accountability partner. Having an accountability partner. The author says that if you want to, create a habit and sustain it, have somebody that keeps you in check. Now, the essence, so there's a quote that says, if you hate correction, growth will elude you. So we all always like to feel good and feel nice and be seen as, all of that. But when we have somebody who we are accountable to, who will check in on us and say, how far with this goal that you set at the beginning of this year? How far with this thing? Have you done it? And the author even mentioned the place of a contract, having a habit contract where you get to write, this is what I want to do. And then you tell your accountability partners to even sign it off with you. So they get to also sign. And you know what a contract is? If I don't meet up with this is going to be the consequence of my action. So if you have something like that that binds you, it has a way of putting a restraint on you. So even when you wake up, let me say, from the left side of your bed, you still get to do what needs to be done. You still get to do. And then I want to just talk briefly about this seatbelt in Lagos. Please, if you are in Lagos, just put in the emoji Lagos. I want to see you people. I want to see you. I want to see Lagos, Lagos, Lagos. If you are watching from Lagos, because I lived in Lagos for a major part of my life before I came to Abuja. And you see this thing about seatbelts. So we really don't like to wear seatbelts, but we started wearing it because these last mile guys were always on the road. So you'll be surprised that you'll be in the vehicle. The driver will not tell you, put on your seatbelt. Not even the driver will not even wear it. So he will just wait. When we see the last mile guys coming, we just say, oh, put on your seatbelt, and then you just put it with one hand and maybe you just hold it there. Once you move out of that space, you pull it off. Okay, Lagos and Lasma, the mechanic can relate. You know, once once you leave his sight, you just say, let me remove this thing, let me breathe, you know. And that is happening because there is a consequence for not putting that seatbelt. So if you put a consequence for not completing a habit, you are more likely to do it. And let's just even say, who exactly is that seatbelt supposed to protect? You in the vehicle or the last mile guy standing outside? So we must realize that our seatbelts, our accountability partner, everything that we put as a restraint is actually for our own good. First, for our own good, our own safety, and our own growth. So that is it. So put that at the back of your mind. So when your body doesn't want to get up, you just need to realize that, oh, I have to do this, and there's somebody who is going to ask me, and I have to put my seatbelt on to protect myself even much more than the guy who is outside. Okay, so Kachi, I would like to ask you, which of these methods do you prefer? Do you prefer having the accountability partner? Do you prefer the habit contract? Or you prefer to automate, like a special message will go out around 6:30 to say, Kachi has not woken up this morning. There's an illustration like that. Kachi, please, would you like to speak about that?
Yes. All right. Thank you, Glory. Now, before I go on to answer the question you asked, anybody who is on this call who has not subscribed, please do well to subscribe. And apart from subscribing, turn on your notifications, because the Joyce Daniel channel has has a lot of content, like Glory has said. And recently, they have been putting out a lot of shorts. And those short videos they have really concise tidbits just to help you improve your life. So normally I don't turn on my notifications on my phone because they are distracting. I tend to hide them. But I started interacting well. I just decided to turn on my YouTube notifications because of this channel. And there was one particular video that struck me. And it was just like I needed to hear that from Joyce Daniels. So you see, it was like something was leading me to turn on, and help came at the point I needed it. Like they say, when when you need to go, the teacher arrives, something like that. So I'm appealing to you. Any of you who has not turned on the post notification, please turn it on, because there's a lot to learn, and there's a whole lot to learn. Now, going on to what Glory has talked about, you see that last mile Lagos. I stay in Lagos. I see it every day. It's so funny. And what it made me realize is that habit building is based on emotions. Okay, it's more emotional than logical. The logical thing is, once you enter your car, you put on your seatbelt, right? Because it's for you. It's not for the last mile guy. But for some reason, we are not doing it. We wait to see the yellow and red uniform before we put it on. Why do we do that? Okay, and it just shows you that this is because humans are more emotional than logical. Now, this made me remember some time back where I worked with sales guys. Each of them were, before you take on that role, you will be asked to produce a guarantor. And the guarantor is not just anybody. It won't be your friend. It's going to, they either tell you somebody in your religion, a high ranking person in your religion, or a senior colleague in your profession. Now, the whole idea was to encourage this sales guy to remit their sales, because they had noticed that people would make sales and won't remit. But by the time you drop those guarantors, drop their phone number, drop their addresses, and for some reason you as a salesman miss out on dropping your sales for the day, the company has no other choice than to call your guarantors, and they tell them, oh, Mr. A did not remit his 100K for today. Now imagine you, like Glory will say, if you are a music director in your church and they call your pastor, you know what that's going to do to your emotional, to your person, to your image, because we want to look good before others. You're a music director, you want your pastor to see you as this upright citizen who is living according to the word of God, and for some reason, you receiving a call to say you did not remit your sins for the day. So, having an accountability partner, just like corporate will tell you, bring guarantors, is one way to help us to, keep track of our habits and make sure we do to what we commit. Now, to Glory's question, I prefer accountability partners, okay, because when I choose accountability, I don't just choose my friends. I choose people who I respect. That when they talk to me, I will listen to them and say, "Oh, I committed to doing this. Why am I falling short?" So it's appeals to that emotional part of me that, oh, I actually said I was going to be a better person. I said I was going to do this, and when that person talks to me and tells me, "Oh, Kachi, you are falling short," I pick myself back up because I know I want to sing. I don't even want to miss, okay, so that that person doesn't have to call me because I want to be the perfect person in front of that person. Do you get? Now this reminded me of this year. I have four sisters. This year we decided that we were going to study a book, and then one of my sisters created a schedule for all of us. We were to drop voice notes where we review this book. And for some reason, I didn't want to be the one to drop the ball because every day one person drops a voice note. And I just kept on. And to the extent that I was the most consistent because I didn't want them to see me as somebody who was dropping the ball. I didn't want my sister calling me to say, "Why have you not dropped your voice note?" So having an accountability partner is one sure way to help us make sure that we are returning back to the habits that we said we are going to do, so that we not just get to the destination we want to get to, but we become better persons. We're able to keep the promises we made to ourselves and to others, okay, and we become our work ethic increase because we do what we say we are going to do. Now over to you, Glory, so that we just wrap this up and then share our thoughts and end for the day.
What we say we will do. We will do what we say we will do. It is so very important. And please, if I would just like before we wrap up, we're almost there. But I don't want you to leave this call without dropping a message, something that you are going to take from this conversation today and act on. Is there something specific that you can hold on to and act on as you move from this conversation today? For me, it will be the lesson of compounding effects. It will be the lesson of compounding effects because it is not the first time you do something that you see the results, whether for good or for bad. Just imagine or remember a tap that is leaking. The very tiny drop, tum, 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 is like insignificant. But if you keep a bucket overnight under that tap, by the time you come back the following day, you realize that you have a full bucket of water to even have your bath with. So it's very important that we stay true to the tiny habits that bring the big results. Kachi, we will not end this without having a final word from you, and then we get to wrap this all up while we also look forward to September's edition, because I know that they have something very powerful to share with us also.
All right, thank you, Glory. Now, before I leave, the last thing I want to share is when we having moving away from pain, mm, is something that we can work towards. Okay, if you tie our habits towards a pain, you say, okay, like just like the story I shared of receiving a call from your pastor, that's a kind of emotional pain because it's a dent on your person. Now that is something that I will take away. That's something I think I will have to include in my life, where there is a consequence for me not doing what I said I would do. Because sometimes we just let's say because there's no immediate consequence. So that is something I want to introduce into my life. And then before we round up, I just want to let us know that just as we have shared, do not miss a habit twice. Okay, that is something, that's a big takeaway from me, for me, because once you do that, it's like you've scattered. But just pick yourself back up. Know that know that you can always get by. It's not the end of the world, because you become a better person with just these tiny, tiny bits. Which, and that's the title of this book: Atomic Habits, tiny habits that improve your life over time. So, just was one thing that I want to take away with me. And then, Glory, I know you have one thing that you want to share with us before we leave. And I just want to say thank you for everybody for joining us on this call.
Okay. Thank you so very much, Kachi. I this apart from reviewing this book together with you, like we had work to do together, it has been the privilege of meeting you, connecting with you. It's also a valuable relationship. And I want to say thank you for that. Thank you to the mechanic. Thank you, Joyce Daniel. Thank you, Joyce Daniels. We really, really appreciate you. I want to say thank you for giving us a platform to build us. Thank you to the team, the Joyce Daniels team, the WISER special team, for holding us accountable to stay true to our habits, to stay true to what we say we will do. Thank you very much for putting this book into real practice in our own lives. And we pledge to continue to live out this habit so that we will be grateful by the time we call for the bigger testimony, like December, what has, and all of that. By the time we call for the bigger party, like we'll be wearing party hats and we'll have drinks and all of that online, though, or wherever we choose. But we just want to say thank you. My final words will be: choose progress over perfection. Choose progress over perfection. Thank you so very much. And we hope to see you in September. You'll be having very powerful facilitators who will be ready to dish out great content from the Atomic Habits. Until we come your way, until the new facilitators come your way in September, we're signing out. I'm Glory Okoko. Thank you so very much. And thank you, Kachi, for joining me on this journey. Thank you very, very much. Have a lovely, lovely Monday. Enjoy the rest of your month. Enjoy the rest of the year. Bye.